When the man first appeared on the America's Got Talent stage, most people watching at home barely noticed him. He didn't walk with confidence, didn't wave to the crowd, and didn't wear anything flashy. He looked nervous, almost like he had accidentally wandered into the wrong building. His clothes were simple, his shoes worn, and his shoulders slightly hunched, as if life had spent years teaching him to stay small and quiet. The camera zoomed in on his face, and you could see the weight of many untold stories resting behind his tired eyes. Terry Crews greeted him warmly and asked his name. In a soft voice, he said his name was Manuel Reyes, and he was from a small fishing village in the Philippines. When asked how old he was, Manuel hesitated for a moment before answering honestly. He was 53 years old. A slight murmur passed through the audience. This was not the age people expected for a big breakthrough moment. Simon Cowell leaned back in his chair, curious but cautious, clearly wondering if this audition would go anywhere special. Terry asked Manuel what he did for a living. Manuel smiled politely and said he worked multiple jobs over the years. He had been a fisherman, a construction worker, a factory helper, and even a janitor when he moved to the United States. He explained that music was never his career. It was something he carried quietly with him, something that helped him survive long nights, empty pockets, and painful losses. The judges listened, but they had heard many emotional backstories before. The room still felt uncertain. Then Terry asked the most important question. Why did you come to America's Got Talent? Manuel took a deep breath. His voice trembled slightly as he explained that he had come for his late mother. She had loved Elvis Presley more than anything. In their tiny home back in the Philippines, Elvis songs were always playing on an old radio. When Manuel was a child, his mother would sit him beside her and tell him that Elvis was proof that even someone from nothing could become something unforgettable. She passed away before Manuel ever left the Philippines, but he promised her that one day, he would sing Elvis on a stage where the world could hear him. The audience grew quieter. Even Simon leaned forward slightly. There was something sincere about this man. Something unpolished and real. Terry nodded gently and told Manuel that the stage was his. The music began, and for a split second, nothing happened. Manuel closed his eyes, gripping the microphone with both hands. His breathing was uneven. Some people in the crowd exchanged looks, wondering if nerves had gotten the best of him. Then the first note came out. It was deep, rich, and powerful. Gasps filled the theater. Manuel wasn't just singing Elvis. He was channeling him. The tone, the control, the emotion in his voice felt impossibly authentic. It didn't sound like a karaoke performance or an imitation. It sounded like a man who had lived inside these songs for decades. Simon's eyebrows shot up. Sofia Vergara's mouth opened in shock. Howie Mandel leaned forward, his playful smile disappearing as he realized this was something extraordinary. As Manuel continued singing, the crowd slowly rose to their feet. His voice carried pain, hope, longing, and love all at once. Every lyric felt personal, as if he was telling his own life story through Elvis's words. The camera caught Simon's face again. For the first time in the audition, Simon wasn't analyzing. He was listening. Truly listening. Halfway through the song, Manuel did something unexpected. He stopped the music. The audience gasped, thinking something had gone wrong. Manuel looked at the judges and apologized. He explained that the next part of the song was the one his mother loved the most, and he had never sung it in public before. His voice cracked as he admitted that every time he reached this part, he remembered the night she passed away, holding his hand, asking him not to give up on his dream. The theater was silent. Then Manuel nodded to the band to continue. When he sang again, his voice carried raw emotion that words could barely describe. Tears streamed down his face, but his voice never broke. It grew stronger, fuller, almost defiant, as if he was singing not just for his mother, but for every dream he had buried to survive. Sophia wiped her eyes. Howie shook his head in disbelief. Even Simon looked visibly moved, something viewers rarely see. As the final note echoed through the theater, there was a brief moment of silence. Then the entire room erupted. The audience screamed, clapped, and cheered at the top of their lungs. Terry Crews ran onto the stage, hugging Manuel tightly. Manuel looked overwhelmed, almost confused, as if he couldn't believe what was happening. Simon was the first judge to speak. He admitted that when Manuel walked out, he expected nothing. He said he was prepared to stop the audition within seconds. But instead, he witnessed one of the most honest and emotional performances he had seen in years. Simon said something that shocked everyone. He told Manuel that this performance wasn't about sounding like Elvis. It was about understanding what music is supposed to do. Make people feel something real. Then came the twist no one expected. Simon asked Manuel a simple question. Why did you wait so long? Manuel swallowed hard and explained that life didn't give him many choices. When his father died, he had to work instead of finishing school. When his mother got sick, he had to provide medicine instead of chasing dreams. When he moved to America, survival came first. Singing was something he did alone, in his car after work, or late at night when everyone else was asleep. Simon nodded slowly. Then he surprised the entire theater by standing up. He told Manuel that sometimes the world doesn't make room for dreamers, but moments like this prove that talent has no age and no borders. The crowd roared again. Sophia told Manuel that his voice made her feel like she was watching a movie about his life. How he said this was the reason the show existed. To give people like Manuel a chance to finally be seen. The judges voted yes without hesitation. 4 yeses lit up the screen. Manuel dropped to his knees, crying uncontrollably. He whispered thank you over and over, looking up toward the ceiling as if speaking to his mother. Terry helped him back up and told him America was now listening. Backstage, Manuel explained that he didn't know what would happen next, but for the first time in his life, he felt like his promise to his mother had been fulfilled. The clip of his audition exploded online overnight. Millions of Americans shared it, commenting that his voice reminded them of their parents, their grandparents, and the power of never giving up. In the next round, the pressure increased. Critics doubted whether Manuel could repeat such a powerful performance. Some said it was a one-time emotional moment. Others questioned if he could stand out in a competition full of younger singers. Manuel saw the comments, and for the first time, doubt crept in. But then another twist came. Before his next performance, Manuel received a letter. It was from an American woman who had watched his audition with her elderly father, a lifelong Elvis fan battling terminal illness. She wrote that her father smiled for the first time in weeks while listening to Manuel sing. He passed away 2 days later, with Manuel's performance playing on repeat. Manuel carried that letter onto the stage with him. When he sang again, it wasn't just for himself anymore. It was for everyone who had ever found comfort in music. His performance that night was even stronger, even deeper, and once again, the judges were left speechless. By the time Manuel reached the semi-finals, he was no longer just a contestant. He was a symbol. A reminder that dreams delayed are not dreams denied. When Simon finally spoke after Manuel's semi-final performance, he admitted that he had underestimated him from the very beginning, and that made this journey even more special. Win or lose, Manuel had already won something greater. He had been heard. As the episode ended, millions of Americans felt something rare. Hope. And now we want to hear from you. From which part of the country are you watching this video? Let us know in the comments, and if Manuel's story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs to believe that it's never too late.